Okay, so at this point you should have a general idea of how you work with Logo inside MicroWorld, sending text messages to Foo, and if Foo understands what instruction you sent, then Foo will do it. Otherwise, Foo will send you some kind of a message, right? So in this video, I want to go through all these definitions and make sure I've talked about all of them and that they're and hopefully make them all clear. So the first one is instruction. It says here, an instruction is a command together with the inputs it needs to do its work. For example, the line below contains two instructions, forward 5 and wait 1. So let's take a look at that. So the instruction is basically a complete message that you send to Foo. Let me put a turtle on here. So for example, we saw that the message forward needs an input. So forward by itself is not an instruction. Let me make this bigger. Okay. Forward by itself is not an instruction, because if you just say forward, it's going to say forward needs more inputs. But if you say forward 20, that's an instruction, okay? Because it's a complete set of, it's got a procedure and all the inputs that procedure needs. So it's a complete message. Once you send that message, you transmit that message, Foo can take the whole thing and say, forward 20, yep, I know how to do that, okay? You could also say, like, forward 5, forward 20, wait 1 is a message, too. Because wait needs one input. So as long as all the procedures have all the inputs they need, you have a complete instruction, okay? So that's the idea for instruction. So let's look at procedure. A procedure is a group of instructions that do a particular job. So what does that mean by a group of instructions? That's going to become a little bit clearer as you start writing your own procedures. So basically, the idea is that this forward procedure is something that is in order to be able to do a forward procedure, there has to be some code written somewhere, and it's as far as you're concerned, it's code that's behind the scenes. Okay, it's not code that you can look up because it's proprietary. The MicroWorlds people wrote it themselves, and so far they don't share it with other people. So however forward got written, that's for them to know. But there is code somewhere written so that MicroWorlds knows what to do when it sees forward. Okay. And that code is a group of instructions. Okay, so just like you can write instructions in here, so the way to think about it is that just like you can write instructions to do things, there are a bunch of instructions written somewhere that also tell you how to do forward. Okay. So a group of instructions that do a particular job is called a procedure. You can write your own procedures, which you may or may not know how to do yet. That's okay. You don't need to know that at this point. Or you can use procedures called primitives that come with MicroWorlds. So all the procedures that you can look up in the vocabulary are primitives. So like all these turtles and graphics things, ask, BG, clean, click on, home, forward, all those guys are, forward should be in here, let's make sure. Yeah, forward, FD. So all those guys that you can look up in the vocabulary, those are all primitive procedures. What else? Let's see. Command. Okay, so command and reporters are the two different types of procedures that you can have. So all procedures are either a command or a reporter, and there are a couple of weird ones that can be sometimes a command and sometimes a reporter. But in general, a procedure is either a command or it's a reporter, and there's no other kind of procedure. So it's either a command or reporter, or in some weird cases it could be either one. Okay, commands are procedures that are used to change the state of projects, pages, turtles, buttons, sliders, text boxes, colors, hyperlinks, media objects, dialog boxes, choosers, and the command center. What does that mean? Okay, so what that means is that, for example, forward is a command because when you give the instruction and say forward 20, it changes something on the screen. The turtle moves. Okay. Show is a command because when you say show hello, it changes something on the screen. It basically prints out this word hello down here. Okay. If you say question, how are you? That's a command because it made this dialog box come up. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, so anything that makes a change, either in the main window or if it makes a change down here in the command center, or if it makes a dialog box pop up, you know, if you hide the turtle, anything like that, those are all commands. Well, maybe the best way to explain this is to show you the difference between a command and something that's not a command. So all these things are commands here. Presentation mode is a command because when you say presentation mode, it changes the screen. Okay, I'm going to hit the escape key. So presentation mode is a command. So what's not a command? Let's see. So XOR is not a command because if you use the procedure XOR, it doesn't change anything that's on the screen. XOR basically gets information for you. So the way to think about so like I said, there's either commands or reporters. Okay, show is a command, question is a command, presentation mode is a command. Command is telling somebody to do something, right? So you're telling Foo to do something, either make the turtle move, pop up a dialog box, write something in the command center, do something. Okay. For reporters, which are not commands, so one example of a reporter is XOR. It's like asking a question. What's my x coordinate? Well, my x coordinate is 4. Okay, so if you say XOR, it's not going to cause a change on the screen, right? And you should have seen a video probably that showed you something like this, XOR, and then it says, I don't know what to do with 4. Okay, so XOR is a reporter. It gives you information. It doesn't tell you what to do with the information. The command can, if some commands take inputs, right? If a command could take an input and then do something with the input, okay? A reporter may or may not take input, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make any changes in the world when it with that input. So you can take that input and do something with it. You could show it. You could turn right by. So if I say show XOR, right? If I say show XOR, it shows me 4. if I, let's make my XOR more interesting. Let's make it 90. Okay, so now he's over at 90 degrees, or 90, I'm sorry, 90 pixels over from the middle, right? So I could say RT XCore, and RT will take that 90 that gets reported by XCore and turn the turtle by that amount, okay? So again, XCore doesn't do anything with the number, but it can give the number to somebody else to do something with it. Okay, I could go forward by XCore. Okay, so the reporter gives the information to another procedure. All right, now you can also have reporters that need inputs. Okay, so for example, there's a reporter called minus. And it needs an input. If I just say show minus, it's going to say minus needs more inputs. So minus just takes a number and gives you the negative of that number. So if I say show minus 70, it's going to say minus 70. Okay. Or if I said write minus XCore, I could use XCore as an input to minus, okay, because XCore passes information along, okay? So XCore passes the information to minus, and minus passes the information to RT. So we're going to RT minus 90, okay? Let's see. Yoink. Okay, so we did an RT of minus 90, and that got us to 270. Is that right? Oh, because the XCore was 180. So we did an RT of minus 180. Sorry about that. The XCore was 180. So we did RT minus 180, flipped over to 270. Okay? So, and we'll cover more of this when you get into M diagrammers, so don't worry too much about it, but the important thing to remember is that the reporter passes on information and commands don't pass on any information. So, for example, the home command, that's a good command, right? But it doesn't pass on any information. So if I say show home, that's why you got home didn't report anything. So reporters you can use to pass information on to other procedures. But commands cannot be used to pass on information to other procedures. So that's another important difference, okay? So a command changes something in the world, and it doesn't report anything to other procedures, okay? So here are the examples of commands. Our presentation mode, page 1. You can try all these out. Set X, forward, set slider 1, set. Some of them need inputs, some don't need inputs, like presentation mode doesn't need any inputs. The following procedures are not commands: XCore, sum, word, and get. So again, the important thing to remember is the way to tell a command from a reporter has nothing to do with inputs. A procedure could have 0 or any number of inputs, and it could be a command or a reporter. The way that you tell a command or a reporter is by output. If it has output, it's a reporter. If it doesn't have output, it's a command. Okay, so again, let's just flip over to reporters. A procedure that reports output to other procedures is called a reporter. Okay, and it also says in here the OP command is used to report output from procedures that you write yourself. Don't worry about that until you're writing procedures yourself, and you need to use that. Okay, if you're just working with primitive procedures at this point, then you just need to know it outputs, reporters output information to other procedures. Okay, so here are some more examples. Color is a reporter that doesn't need any inputs. It just reports what color the turtle is right now, and what color it draws. Quotient needs 2 inputs. Okay, it's going to give you the quotient of 2 numbers. So all these guys, and you can look these guys up too in the vocabulary. They all need an input. These are not reporters. Okay, freeze BG is not a reporter. It makes something happen in the world. Oh, you know, also making something happen in the world might not be immediately visible. You know, it might not be obvious that you made a change. So I'm going to just make a nothing button right here. I can move it around, right? If I say freeze BG, okay, if I say freeze BG, it doesn't look like anything happened, but there really is a change in the world here, because what's changed is that now if I try to drag, wait, freeze BG, oh yeah, I messed up. Sorry, hold on. Let me, the way freeze BG works is with like backgrounds and stuff. So let me copy this, paste it, I'll just stamp full page. So now if I say clean, right, it goes away. But let me do it again. Copy, here, stamp full page. If I say freeze BG, okay, and now, I don't know, I'll put my pen down and repeat for forward 100, right 90. I draw a square, I go, oh, I didn't want to do that. Let me just clean. It cleans the square, but it didn't clean the background because I did freeze BG before I drew the square. Okay, so, and also you can tell, right, that it's a command because it's the first word in the instruction, and I didn't get an error message. That's another clue, right? You can never have a reporter as the first word in your instruction list. Okay. The report, so xcore cannot be a command because you got an error message. Okay, because you'll always get an error message with xcore, even though it doesn't need inputs. All right. So that's another clue. Okay. I mean, you might still get error messages, right? But if your error message is I don't know what to do with 0, that means, and you only have one procedure name in your, that you're trying to execute, then that's a good clue that that's a reporter. All right, so let's see what else we got here. All right, so we went through 4 of these. This is getting kind of long, so I'm going to cut it here, and then in the next video I'll start going through some of the other ones.